December 7th, 1982, Atlantic City, New Jersey. Chapter 1. The first one to go down is the pimply-faced gangbanger in the leather jacket. 1 second he's laughing with his crew, getting off on how scared I look, and how Corinne's just gone and passed out at my feet. The next he gets grabbed from behind and yanked into the shadow of one of the big steel pilings, the move so sudden and swift that it almost seems like a magic trick. A moment later, Pimples screams. A moment after that, his body gets tossed out from behind the piling, as if he were a rag doll instead of 160 pounds of wiry muscle. He flips end over end and lands with a loud thump in the sand. There he writhes, groaning and clutching his face with both hands. Despite the patchwork of shadows beneath the pier, there's no mistaking the blood. His face has been slashed. Wait, did I say slashed? Well, that's wrong. His face has been all but peeled away, like an apple skin, and the whole thing took maybe 5 seconds. For several more seconds, nobody moves. Not me, certainly not poor out-of-it Corinne, and not the 3 other gangbangers encircling us either. They're all in their late teens or early 20s, stoned out and itching to hurt somebody. A teenage girl like me coming out here was foolish, plenty foolish, but bringing my 9-year-old foster sister along cranked plenty foolish up to outright stupid. While being under Steel Pier at midnight wasn't exactly safe at the best of times, running into these dudes was the kind of boatload full of bad luck that could ratchet outright stupid all the way up to stone dead. Except suddenly that boatload of bad luck had turned on the tide. "What happened to you, man?" one of the bangers yells. He stares at his homeboy, who's still wailing piteously. Then realizing that Pimples has got nothing to say just now, he looks fearfully around. He's still clutching an open butterfly knife, the one he planned to use to cut away my coat and clothes to get a peek at the candy. Another of the gang yells out a stream of cusses that would have had Aunt Kell grounding me for sure. Then this third dude draws a gun, a snub-nosed .38 revolver from inside his coat. He starts waving it around, scanning the gloom for a target. A figure emerges from behind the pillar. He's still bathed in shadow, but I get the impression of old clothes, mismatched and well-worn, a mixed bag of dumpster pickings from behind a thrift store. Most of it looks tattered, little more than rags. He's not a particularly big dude, and his shoulders are pretty slim, but for all that, there's something about him. A presence that's hard to overlook. It seems to run through the air like electricity. Oh, and he's holding an enormous bloody knife. "Who the hell are you?" Butterfly demands. "Who cares?" 38 adds. Then, with another imaginative cuss, he fires. The muzzle flash is blinding and the noise deafening, bouncing off the concrete underside of the pier and momentarily drowning out the surf's constant rumble. But when the noise and flash subside, the figure's gone. Not dead, not shot. Just gone. Only now something sticks out of the front of 38's chest, jutting through his coat. It takes me a moment to get what it is, the point of a knife. His knife. Rag's knife. It's got a long blade of black metal that gives back none of the lamplight peeking under the pier from the nearby boardwalk. The blade's darkness is so complete, so perfectly empty, that it almost looks like a triangular bit of 38's chest has been somehow erased. But the truth is way simpler. The banger's been impaled from behind. I try to scream, but I can't seem to make a sound. 38's eyes roll up inside his head. He topples over, revealing Rags, who leans down and smoothly pulls his knife out of the banger's back. My mind reeling, I take in the Raggedy Man's moth-riddled wool coat and the heavy hood he's wearing that completely conceals his face. I can't tell anything about him. I can't even say for sure it's a him. 2 gangbangers remain. One is Butterfly, who's taken to bobbing and weaving in a way that I guess is supposed to look badass. The knife he's waving is hilariously small compared to the one Rags wields. Nevertheless, the dude does his best to compensate. "Back off, man," he screams. I'll cut you wide open." Rags doesn't reply. The last banger, the youngest of them, who hasn't said a thing so far, and who didn't seem all that psyched about joining in his homeboy's rape-murder party in the first place, just stares. Then he turns and runs face first into a steel piling. Sounds dumb, I know, but it's easier to do in the dark than you'd think. He staggers back from it, moaning and cupping his palms over what's got to be a broken nose. Then he drops to his knees in the sand. Butterfly apparently sees this as an opening and charges forward, yelling like an Apache in one of those old John Wayne movies Uncle Nick likes to watch. His knife is raised, his eyes wild from dope, desperation, and a double-sized portion of fear. Rags kicks him, hard.